Hey everyone, Josh here. Here recently, Microsoft made some massive changes to its xCloud streaming service. In all honesty, these changes make xCloud worth checking out. Why is it worth checking out now? Let's talk about it. I'm sure that most of you guys know that the Xbox Series X and its little brother, the Xbox Series S, are almost impossible to find online and in stores right now. While you may not have your hands on one of these consoles yet, I do think Microsoft has made a very good alternative option that might be worth checking out. If you have a reasonably decent internet connection, the Xbox Cloud streaming service, also known as xCloud, might be worth checking out. On June 28th, Microsoft announced that they had made some upgrades to their service and had improved the overall experience of their service by powering their service with Xbox Series X hardware. Additionally, they opened the beta to all iOS Game Pass Ultimate subscribers. Because of this upgrade, we will be able to see stream qualities of up to 1080p with a frame rate of up to 60 frames per second. We will also be able to see lower latency and input lag and faster loading times. Because of this, I believe that xCloud is just one step closer to becoming an Xbox anywhere you have internet. Another feature that makes xCloud worth checking out is its massive library. Because you only get the xCloud service via Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you'll have access to all of the console and PC games already. And because of this, you will be able to stream almost every single Game Pass game in the Game Pass library. There will be no updates required, no downloads, none of that stuff that requires internet. You literally press the play button and then you're good to start playing the game. Assuming you have an Xbox controller and decent internet, xCloud is hands down a steal. For some people. More on that in a little bit. So, you may be asking yourself now, how much does this cost? The whole Xbox Game Pass Ultimate Suite, which includes access to the Game Pass library on Xbox and PC, the online Xbox Live Gold subscription, access to a majority of EA's games via EA Play, and the xCloud game streaming service cost a total of $14.99 USD per month. This price may seem a little expensive to some people, but you really have to compare this to the price of just buying games outright. If you wanted a year of Game Pass Ultimate, it'd cost about $180, which is the same price as buying just 3 AAA Xbox games outright. While you could own the game for good, you could have access to a library of over 300 games, many of these being AAA titles, mind you, for a whole entire year. Or you could buy 3 AAA games for the same price. See how this stacks up? If you're an avid gamer, you'll probably beat all 3 games in less than a year, and you're stuck playing them on the Xbox or PC you purchased them on. But if you go with Game Pass Ultimate, you have over 300 games that you can play on any Game Pass enabled device, anywhere. So, when you compare these two things together, Game Pass begins to sound a whole lot cheaper. Now, where cloud streaming is still in its infancy, it's very important that we take a look at performance and quality. In the case of xCloud, it works pretty well depending on what you're playing it on. Please keep in mind that this is still in early beta, so the performance in this review will not reflect the final product. During my experimenting and testing, I used multiple devices all on different networks. The devices I used were my computer, my phone, and my iPad Pro. Before running the test on my PC, I had a download speed of 522 megabits per second and an upload speed of 648 megabits per second, which is overkill granted, even for cloud streaming, but having that high download speed could prove beneficial when streaming on the cloud because of all that bandwidth that you have to use. If you're not getting almost half a gigabit per second like I was, there is no need to fret. You don't need anywhere as much as I had for this testing. You could go for way less than that. One of the games I tested was Celeste, a game that focuses on very fast and precise movement, which made it the perfect candidate for testing out this streaming service. Celeste worked almost flawlessly on every device I played it on. However, I did notice that games like Halo Master Chief Collection had a varying performance per platform I played it on. The first time I played Halo on my PC, I didn't notice a whole lot of lag or stuttering, but the second time I tested it, I could really tell it was there. During testing, one of the weird things I noticed is that on my mobile device, almost every single game I played over Wi-Fi worked flawlessly. However, with my PC and my iPad, running through the browser, regardless of the connection I had, I noticed a lot of lag and stutter on certain games. Now, why does it do that? I don't 100% know, but I do believe it has something to do with maybe going through the browser, while the Android device has its own native app to go through. At some points, playing on PC and iPad was almost unplayable for this state. Like, if you plan on playing first-person shooters on PC and iPad, it's almost worth stopping right here, because testing out Halo MCC on PC the second time wasn't playable at all. I tried Doom Eternal and a couple other games, and they just didn't work well. However, if you do plan on playing it on an Android device, I think it might be worth a shot because it worked perfectly fine for me. If you're playing natively on Android with a consistent connection, you may be like me and have almost no issues at all. But I am still having issues playing games on PC and on iOS. So if you're planning on using one of these devices, you might want to be careful. I have tested other streaming services, and while I can confirm services like Google Stadia perform better on almost every platform you play them on, most people who are already paying for Game Pass won't want to pay for another subscription. If you want to play single player games with xCloud, you probably won't experience that many issues, and the input lag will be probably pretty easy to look over. But if you want to play multiplayer games over the cloud, you may encounter input lag that is incredibly aggravating and at some points unplayable. However, since this is a beta, I am a little bit less concerned about the final state because I can only believe that there will be improvements in the future. Now, once again, I do not know if the performance boost on Android is because of the native app, but as of right now, the only device I will be streaming xCloud on is my Android phone. Over the last few months, I have seen a lot of improvements on this service by Microsoft, so I can only expect that they will continue to deliver and make the product even better. By the way, if you are enjoying the video, a like and a subscription to the channel would be incredibly helpful. Anyways, back to the video. Another thing that must be discussed in this review is how good is the xCloud service in terms of quality. Honestly, I think the quality is really good. Definitely way better than the performance is. Recently, Microsoft upgraded the cloud service platform, and now we use Xbox Series X level hardware, which means we will be able to play games at up to 1080p at 60 frames per second, which means that our games will look crisp and clear. While most of the graphics are sharp, a few games I experimented with on PC showed a lot of compression artifacts. Normally this was in darker areas or in the sky, but it was noticeable. Even though the artifacts are there, they aren't too distracting even on PC. With Android, on the other hand, the graphics looked gorgeous, and due to the smaller screen on my phone, the compression artifacts that did exist were hard to see since the display was so much smaller than my PC monitors. So overall, I'd say the graphics for the streaming service are pretty good. In my opinion, the most important part of this whole streaming service is its availability. With xCloud, gamers are truly allowed to play with anyone, anywhere. Even though you may not own an Xbox console or a gaming console in general, it doesn't mean that you can't play with your friends. All you need is a PC, phone, or iPad and an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription, and you're good to go. I respect what Xbox is doing here because it doesn't limit people who can't or won't buy an Xbox console. Also, you won't have to take your Xbox console with you everywhere you go. All you have to do is go to xbox.com/play or open up the Xbox game streaming app, and you can pick up exactly where you left off. So, what do I think about xCloud? I think it's worth it. For some people. If you want to play Xbox on the go and have a stable connection, I think it's a reliable way to do it. And with its gradual improvements, it's beginning to feel closer to a real Xbox. If you aren't 100% sure that it'll work for you as it's worked for me, you can try it yourself and see if it works for you. If you own an Xbox and pay for Game Pass Ultimate, chances are you have access to all these services already. If you've never subscribed to Game Pass Ultimate, Microsoft offers 3 months of the service for just $1. This should give you enough time to try it out for yourself and see if it works for you. Because of everything you have to factor in for Xbox game streaming, chances are it might not be for you just yet. So, if you are interested in trying xCloud out for yourself, the link for it will be in the description below. Overall, I am confident in saying I enjoyed my xCloud experience on Android way better than I did on PC and iPad. While the Android device had high quality as well as high performance almost constantly, the other devices were a hit and miss and were overall unreliable. So, How have your experiences with Game Pass been? Have they been a little bit rough like mine and a hit and miss like mine? Let's talk about it down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, leaving a like and subscribing to the channel would be awesome, and it'd help out the channel a lot. Plus, you won't miss out on all my future videos. Until then, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.